Welcome back, everyone, to Unscripted Gaming. This is part 2 of the E3 2015.
The return. This time,
Yeah.
it's personal.
No, this time it's hilariously fun.
Ha ha.
Once again, my name is Stan.
And I'm Josh.
If you're joining us from part 1, or if you have not seen part 1, here's a link right here to see part 1. Bam! It's right there. Go ahead and click it if you want. Let's talk about Sony. Want to talk about Sony?
Yeah, they like Microsoft.
Came out swinging!
They just, going for the fences.
Hey, throwing haymakers. Let's talk about, first, you want to talk about Microsoft dropping mics? Sony bought a bunch of mics, then had a dump truck just drop them onto the gaming industry.
Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Shut the fuck up! We'll get to that, but first of all, The Last Guardian by Team Ico, I think it's still by Team Ico, is alive.
It is alive.
I was studying this game when I was still in college. I couldn't wait for it because I loved Shadow of the Colossus. And I have not played Ico proper yet. It's on my to-do list, but ooh, The Last Guardian is alive, and they show gameplay footage of it. Awesome!
Yeah, I am intrigued. The weird duck dog bird.
It's adorable.
Monster.
I love that thing. It's so cute.
It weirds me out and makes my heart melt at the same time. But apparently it has and I've heard this from several different sources, like the way that it moves through the environment and interacts and does things is very wild animal-like and very natural. Like, when you give it a command, it doesn't necessarily automatically do that. And you can kind of see that in the demo that they put out, that you have to kind of coach the beast to do things before he'll act.
Have you seen or have you played either Ico or Shadow of the Colossus?
I have not. Those are two of my more embarrassing gaps. I've really wanted to. There are several people who have highly recommended to them. I've heard about them a lot, but I have not played them personally.
Especially Shadow of the Colossus. Phenomenal game. Phenomenal. That's why I got so excited for The Last Guardian. And I thought it was dead. We all thought it was dead. And somebody said, nah, fuckers, it's still alive.
Boom.
And tell you what, we're going to go one step further. Release date. Coming out end of 2016. I was like, all right. Wow. Didn't expect either of those things. Let's talk about the big one. You want to talk about the big one?
Guys.
You want to talk about a mic drop? Speaking of dead properties.
Final Fantasy VII is getting a remake. It is actually happening.
Thank you.
I could not believe it. I think, so Stan and I, for spoiler alert for a podcast, depending on what order we put these out, one point.
This is going before the one you're thinking about.
Yeah, so we recorded some stuff previously talking about doing some retrospectives of games that we grew up with, and we talked about Final Fantasy. And before we started recording, Stan sent me a video because I had just gotten home from work. I hadn't seen a lot of the coverage yet, and I started watching it. And I turned to him and I said, "Is this what I think it is?" And he said, "Just keep watching." And here we are. It is fun, And I had even said recently, and I just didn't think it was ever going to happen. Like, we had gotten to a point where the fidelity was too high to remake that game, and you would just basically have to build it from the ground up instead of just, cleaning it up or anything like that, and that we were just getting too far away and it was getting too expensive, and
nope.
Here it is. Now, I will say...
Here's some problems. One, no gameplay footage, but that's... You know what? Of all the games that were announced that had no gameplay footage, I'm giving this one a pass.
Because to me, it was the studio finally, because, it had been rumored for a long time, but they never really said one way or the other. But this was them finally saying, we are working on
making it. We are making it. Here's the trailer. Put your minds at ease. This is the only game that can get away with this, in my eye. The only one. 1997, that was the last time Final Fantasy VII came out. Of all the games in desperate need of a remake, Remember long ago, I think I said long ago in a previous podcast, like when Square Enix decides that they want to make money, they'll just remake Final. Like if they get down and they're looking at their books and they're like, "Geez, we're gonna be in the serious red in the next 5 years. We better pull a rabbit out of our hats." And someone on the board is just gonna say, "Why don't we just remake Final Fantasy VII and make $500 million?" Here we are.
They finally did it.
Finally, and another problem. We're going to get to this later, actually, when we get to the Square Enix coverage. They said, come December of 2015, we're going to give you more details on it. What does that mean? So you just announce it, you say we're working on it, here's your trailer, just kind of wet your whistle, here's a little sousant, here's what the steak smells like. But we're not going to tell you anything else about it. And unfortunately, in my mind, this is still the only game that gets a pass and can get away with doing that. That's it. And biggest mic drop of E3.
And, you know, to be fair, giving them, taking some of the benefit of the doubt away from them as we've not given to others, I mean, that it may be a project that never actually comes to light. It could be in development hell forever. I mean, we could never see this game.
Square Enix has been very good about releasing games. Whether it's in what we would call a reasonable time frame as of late is another story for another day. I mean, let's be honest. Final Fantasy 15, back to when it was called Versus 13, was announced in 2006. And the demo for it was just released this year in 2015. Ruminate on that for a moment. Still in development hell. But I think if they are satisfied with wanting to make a shitload of money really quick, they'll put this front and center in their development process. You know, finish 15, finish Kingdom Hearts 13. We'll get to those games, but yeah, really, really, really excited.
Yeah, regardless, I'm happy that they're at least working on it. They've finally begun that process. So
excited.
We will see what happens, and we will be following that closely.
Oh, with a microscope, an electron microscope. Moving on, because we have to move on at some point. I don't want to. Gosh. I'm showing screenshots for the trailer right now. You're looking at them right now. If I can't show the whole trailer, I'll get flagged to shit and gone. Then Square's a little better about that, but still. God of War 3. It's getting remastered. Cool. I'll buy it. It's coming out in July. Awesome.
Yep.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yep. That's about the long and the short of it.
New Hitman game. It's going to be open world.
Looks interesting.
Does Hitman really need to be open world? That's my question.
I can see it from the we want you to have a little more freedom, and it's not just like a linear movement and trying to find multiple ways to tackle a problem, and actually having the problem of I need to find this person to do my job, but I have to like use the world available to me to do it. It sounds kind of almost early Assassin's Creed-esque, like trying to listen to conversations and gain information to try and find that person. So I kind of see why they would do it or where they're coming from. So, yeah, I don't know. That could be a unique spin on it, I think.
There's a lot of Hitman fans out there. I'm not one of them. The last Hitman game I played was 2, way back in the day. 2 or 1. I even forget which one it was I played. But I get it. I respect the series. I know why people like it. I'm glad everyone's excited for it. New Street Fighter V footage was shown during the Sony press conference, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where Microsoft has a couple IPs that are just being made by them, such as Forza. So Sony threw apparently a lot of money at Capcom because Street Fighter V is confirmed to never ever get an Xbox One release date. No version of Street Fighter V will get an Xbox One release. The amount of money you have to throw at Capcom to make that a reality. I want to know how much it was, one. And two, that's egg on Microsoft's face. That's a huge fighting game franchise, if not the biggest. And now Sony and the PC has it on lockdown. Good on them.
Well, I mean, can you imagine? I don't know how quickly it'll get picked up at Evo or any of the other fighting game competitions.
Dude,
can you imagine
dude,
the newest Street Fighter game and Microsoft not having a presence in that?
They won't have a presence in it. It's confirmed. They will not.
I don't believe that it's going to stay that way forever, but if it does...
It's contractual.
Oh, man.
So,
how much money did they throw at that?
Right? What does that take? You really want to know what the dollar amount is like? What does that take to make that happen? To make a multi-platform series stay away from one specific one ever? I'm sure Street Fighter 6, whenever that comes out, like
about
10 years from now, about 350 million. Nah, Capcom's so broke. It's like, no, here's $3.50, son,
yep.
right here.
We'll take it.
2 new characters were announced: Cammy and Birdie. Birdie from Street Fighter Alpha. As a Street Fighter fan, cool. It's been a while.
I have a problem calling them new characters.
Okay, 2 characters that you didn't know were coming.
Newly announced.
There we go. Cammy's been around in all versions of Street Fighter 4. Hell, in Street Fighter, Ultra, she's kind of broken. Her evil version. Moving on. So, Call of Duty Blops 3. Yay, it's yearly release because Activision's got to make that money, and there's legitimately still a large following of Call of Duty. No matter what I say about it, there's a large amount of people that like it and buy it, and to its credit, it's still a solidly built first-person shooter. It's just that there's not much to it.
Yeah, I will say though, I mean the numbers of people who are buying it, I mean they have begun to I think
they've dropped.
They've dropped dramatically, and weird move from Sony coming out with some PS4 exclusivity to the Blops with some exclusive map packs, beta access, things like that, and it's like
this is the first time in 8 years that the Call of Duty series will have exclusive content just for the Sony side of things as opposed to Xbox. That's a big deal.
But is it? It's a little,
yes.
It's a little late, I think. I think had this happened 4 years ago, that'd have been a big deal. Had this happened even almost 2 years ago, that'd have been a big deal. But I think today, not that big a deal.
So here's the thing. Like I said before, regardless of what you and I think about it, because I haven't touched the Call of Duty game since Blops 1, and that's knocking on the door 4 years ago or more. Regardless of what you and I think about it, this series still sells. It still sells 2, 3, 4 million units on release day. So yes, having exclusive content to tempt those people that want to buy Call of Duty to buy it for one version versus another, because it will have more content, that's a big deal. Still. Like, I don't like the series, but just because I don't like it doesn't mean it still doesn't make hand-over-fist dollars. It's kind of like the Madden series at this point. Yeah, not everyone we know buys and plays it religiously, but it still sells, so it's the people that we don't know that buy and play it a lot. Any other thoughts before we move on to Uncharted?
No, I think that that about does it, you know.
It's Call of Duty 3.
It's Call of Duty.
It's Blops 3.
It's here. Woo.
Yeah. Coming out in November. Are you surprised?
No.
Uncharted 4. Yeah.
Cool.
Normally I wouldn't be excited, except that they're releasing the Uncharted 1 through 3, the Nathan Drake collection. I'm excited for that, because I actually have not played an Uncharted game. Now I get the chance to play it on my PS4. If I like it then I will play Uncharted 4. The gameplay trailer that they showed off, it was a live gameplay trailer. It was live because it actually broke on stage for like 30 seconds. And you know what? Sometimes when a gameplay trailer kind of messes up on stage, or some people just want to laugh at them. I take that as a sign that Hey, that's a legit trailer. That this is legit gameplay footage that they're about to show. I respect the fact that it kind of broke for a little bit. Well, nothing else to say about that.
Yeah, I've never played an Uncharted game. Don't have a PlayStation 4 right now, so I really have very little to. I mean, it looks interesting.
Yeah, I hear they're really good games. Let's talk about this really big game, No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I am pretty pumped.
Live gameplay footage you can go ahead and watch. Get this. Here's the most impressive thing about this game. It's being made by 12 people. That's it. The entire game. And the game will be the game looks like a more visceral version of Elite Dangerous. It really does. You'll actually have the ability, unlike Elite Dangerous, to leave your ship, go on the planets, explore the planet, encounter with the environment, do trading. That alone makes it sound more interesting than Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous is just, straight space combat. This is all about exploration of the entire galaxy. And it's all procedurally and somewhat realistically generated in certain parts where it matters. I'm excited. PS4 time release. Weird. PC at a later date. Don't know if it's coming to the Xbox 360. Gonna go ahead and assume no. I mean, Xbox One. Why do I keep saying 360?
That's what you said for years, so.
True.
I'm excited though. It looks really good. I mean, even if I have to wait a while to get it on the PC, there will be so much content left in that game to explore and discover, and that will have remained untouched, even if it is some number of years. I'll play it when it comes out. I'm really excited.
I think it'll be a time release for like a year or two, no longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
I cannot see it longer than 2 years. I want to talk about this gem that was also another. You know what? This isn't a mic drop. This is a throw the mic to the back audience and watch it explode. Shenmue 3 lives. And to prove that there's a following for it, they made a Kickstarter for it, probably just to show that the game can't get funded and to get the extra money for it. And it was funded for $2 million. That was their asking price in just 12 hours. I'm not a Shenmue fan at all, but I am very, very, very excited for the people that are. That is really cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
For them to finally, say, hey, we've acknowledged that there's a desire for this and we're going to make it.
Yep.
God, if you watch the press conference, there are people like clutching their shirts and crying and falling down in the middle of the aisles, like just so excited.
Wait. Really?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah, go back and watch. They do a few cutaways during the press conference where like people were just losing their minds. You'd think the Beatles had just come on stage.
Dude, it's the equivalent. Shenmue 2 ends on a cliffhanger on the Dreamcast, and then the Dreamcast dies. 3 is no one ever thought 3 would come out. And I hope 3, in all honesty, finishes the series. It was supposed to be like something like a 7 or a 17-part series. No. Finish it with 3. Let the series go out gracefully. Especially if it's all Kickstarted and whatnot.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll post a link to the Kickstarter because by the time we post this video, that Kickstarter will still be going on. If you are a Shenmue fan, now's your chance to let your voice be heard. Speak with your dollars, people. If you want to buy the digital copy, only $28 or $29. That's a steal. That is a steal. You want a physical hard copy, $60. Go for it. I could do nothing but support this project. That's the end of the Sony conference. Now we get to the one. That pretty much
wraps it up for E3. You can pack it up, go home. Nobody else.
You shut your filthy fucking mouth.
Stan, let's get to the one where
let's get to the one where I personally had the most fun. Don't get me wrong. Sony came onto the stage and said, "What's that, Microsoft? No, we don't have backwards compatibility, but we got this. Games. Restored IPs."
For those of you who are not watching the video feed, which of there is none of, Stan is doing some
shadow boxing,
weird motions. It is, I am concerned.
You should be. Then Nintendo comes out and had, in my personal opinion, the most fun conference I've ever seen ever. They had Muppet versions of Reggie Fils-Aimé, Satoru Iwata, and Shigeru Miyamoto. I could not stop laughing and just smiling as they're doing all these little puppet antics, and they use the puppets to reveal Star Fox. It's called Star Fox Zero, and oh my gosh, oh my gosh, the R-Wing turns into a mech. What more do I need to say?
A weird chicken contra-legged mech, but a mech nonetheless.
The Macross fan in me is screaming with glee. Macross, Robotech, whatever the side of the pond that you take this from. It also turns into a helicopter. It turns into a tank. The combat and the gameplay looks exactly like it's from the N64 version, which is a good thing. I'm stressing the good thing because earlier Josh had some words to say it was a bad thing. I could have jumped through the computer screen.
I'm not saying that the combat looks like a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, from what I've heard and what I've seen, I have no desire to play with the gamepad. I would rather just play with the Pro Controller and just play like normal, because I think the
beautiful thing about the gamepad version,
disorienting and unintuitive.
No, stop. Beautiful thing about the gamepad version. It acts as your cockpit if you ever want to look down and just look into the action directly from the cockpit. That is awesome!
Why can't I just press, Y or a bumper and just get into the cockpit mode?
Oh, for F's sake, this is better.
Because the aiming with your sticks while also moving your hands while trying to position it on the screen while looking at that's just too much going on and it's too imprecise. It just... I think most people won't use it. Most people will find it obtuse.
Tell you what, it might be a gimmick to most people. I'm going to at least try it. Well, the beautiful thing about Nintendo's press conferences is they call it the digital event because very little of their conference is actually live. Most of it is all pre-recorded, and it works. It works out really well.
Basically, they just do an extended Nintendo Direct and press play on the show floor. I mean, there's not much difference between the Nintendo Directs they do throughout the year and what they bring to E3.
And is that so bad?
No,
I think they've got it figured out. If everyone did it this way, it would be a much better conference overall. During the Nintendo Direct, they actually did start an actual Direct after their conference was over. I'm jumping the gun a bit. They had 2 hours of Star Fox gameplay footage just airing live. I might post a link to it. Depends on how I feel about Nintendo. They may or may not have flagged a couple of our videos in the past. Metroid. Not really proud about that, Nintendo. Not really happy about that. But I will show some pictures at the very minimum of Star Fox. I can't show any video feed. I will get flagged to fucking gone. But I can show some pictures. Let's talk about some other games on Nintendo.
Real quick, one more thing. I was a little disappointed in the fidelity of the Star Fox. It just looked like a slight improvement on the 64 graphics, and I hope they clean it up more before the time they release it, because a lot of the Wii U games that have been coming out have been looking really fucking incredible, and it just doesn't seem up to par with what's coming out from
You're
Nintendo recently.
Insane! That game looked... Watch the next time. Go watch the trailer video. Make sure you're watching it in Chrome. Put it at 60 frames per second. Watch your eyes melt out the other side.
Chrome is the only browser I have on this computer. So
damn straight.
I very much I watched it, so I just hope they clean it up a little bit. So
okay.
That's all I have to say on that.
I think you're a madman. I thought it looked phenomenal. Next game. God damn. We have a whole podcast on this Metroid game. Fuck.
I've thrown standoff.
No, I'm trying to say a good thing about it. And the good thing I could say about it is it looks interesting at minimum.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that at all, but
Metroid Federation Force, in case you guys haven't figured out. Next, Hyrule Warriors for the 3DS. Now, actually, I'm going to go ahead and before we skip on, bam, here's a link. This is the link to go ahead and watch Metroid Federation Force video that we posted a couple days ago. Now we're going to move on. Hyrule Warriors 3DS. Cool. I played Hyrule Warriors in the Wii U. It's fun. It's Dynasty Warriors with Zelda. There's not much more to say. It's fun. It's really fun. And the 3DS version is going to have more characters.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, moving on. There's a new Animal Crossing game. You know what? I'm not the target audience. I know a lot of people that are. Awesome. Cool. You get to be a house designer in that game. Still working for Tom Nook. Still a house designer. There's another Animal Crossing for the Wii U called Amiibo Festival. All right, they're not even burying the lead anymore. They're not even being coy about it. They're just like, Animal Crossing, buy more stuff. This $60 game won't be enough. Buy Amiibos. Buy. I have no interest in that game whatsoever. I'm gonna go ahead and just be very forward. The Nintendo conference wasn't that exciting except for the puppets and the Star Fox. Everything else was just kind of this game that they showed off looked really awesome. Mario Maker for the Wii U looks cool.
Yeah, the things I've seen people doing with it look pretty awesome. I think that's exactly the game Mario Maker needed to be. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think if I had a Wii U, I'd be right in line to get that.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's one of those things where I'd dick around a lot, and I'd love to play other people's levels. I'm not big on the whole level creation myself, so I wouldn't get much out of that. But I'd be very interested in playing other people's creations and seeing what people do with that.
They made it very simplistic looking. So yeah, awesome, very awesome. That's a very good. That's a very good celebration point for Mario's 30th anniversary. Unlike Metroid. Yeah. Moving on. New Zelda game was announced. They did not show any footage or announcements or anything about the Zelda game for the Wii U, so they kept their promise.
They did.
So they didn't say a peep. You'd forget it existed. They said so little about it. It's so it's very odd to me that they'll go ahead, Nintendo rather, will go ahead and say, yeah, here's a new Zelda game back last year in 2014's E3. We're going to show a little bit of gameplay footage. We're going to show what it's like in the open world. And then 2015 comes by. Not a word. Not a fucking word. But they did show off a new Zelda game for the 3DS, Triforce, Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. Co-op, online co-op, looks good. I'm excited. Awesome. Very cool. Been wanting a proper co-op Zelda game in a long time. Not much else to say about that. It looks really awesome. Next, Yoshi's Woolly World.
Looks pretty cute.
Yeah, Yoshi games have this, I guess they have this legacy of being simplistic to play and very easy to complete, but extremely difficult if you want to do it, if you want to get everything in the game 100%. That's where the real meat of the game comes from. Yeah. And the Woolly games, the yarn-based Nintendo games, kind of like Kirby's Epic Yarn, they're extremely easy. They're very, very family-friendly games, and they're extremely cute and well-designed. So, yeah, I'll probably play it at least once. I don't know, I might actually rent that one from Redbox. Let's talk about this big game.
Mario
Xenoblade
Tennis.
Chronicles X. I hate you.
Oh, man. There's not much more I love than
fucking with me.
Letting you do the build-up and then saying something like that.
All right, Mario Tennis. No. Screw you. We're going to talk about Mario Tennis.
Dude, I remember Mario Tennis on the, GameCube?
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I fucking love that game.
No, they're fun games.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're
Make
really
another one,
fun
please.
Games. Yeah. Mario Tennis is Ultra Strikers, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. I'm excited.
Make
sure.
that game.
Xenoblade Chronicles X coming out later this year. I actually need to finish Xenoblade Chronicles. I have sitting on my 3DS over there. Fun game, looks good. Much more mech combat in that game. I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
Don't make it a GameStop exclusive. Nintendo's doing the cross promotion with Skylanders and Amiibo. You know what? I don't care at all. Not even a little bit. There's someone out there that cares, and it's not me.
It's not you. It's not me either. I'm sure they exist, but I don't know.
Families.
Yeah,
exclusively families that are in the Skylanders camp. They hear Nintendo cross promotion. I'm sure they lost their shit. I'm excited for them.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I have no problem with it existing. It's just not for me.
Yep. Next, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, I think is the name of the game. That's where it's Mario and Luigi RPG combined with Paper Mario. Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've only played one Paper Mario, but I did really enjoy it, so.
They're good games.
Yeah, so, yeah. It's exciting. It's a good game.
Yeah. So that was most of the Nintendo conference in a nutshell. You know, most people that like to give E3 conferences a grade, they grade them from A, B to C. Everyone mostly agrees Nintendo's got mostly a C.
Yeah.
I can see why. The puppets probably kept it from being a D, and that's fair. Also Star Fox. But they didn't announce a lot of games. It's actually kind of surprising compared to their 2013 showing.
Yeah.
Also in 2015, they didn't really touch on it much during E3, but they did talk about more of the downloadable characters on the Smash Brothers. They're still keeping Smash Brothers alive and well supported, and I love the company for that. Ryu is now a playable and downloadable Smash Brothers character. I downloaded him the moment he was announced, having a lot of fun with him. Roy from Fire Emblem and Super Smash Bros. Melee also came back. Good. He's a powerful character. Really like him. And finally, Lucas from Smash Bros. Brawl. Fan favorite. I've played against him online. He is a beast online. I am getting wrecked by people playing him well.
Lucas, not that I've played against him, can eat a dick. Because him and Ness are both two of the most annoying fucking characters, and I hate them.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Oh, he's worse in Smash Bros. 4.
Have they implemented the fighting game style controls into it? Because I'd heard something about with Ryu.
Into Ryu, yes.
You can do Smash Brothers style fighting, or you can do fighting game style fighting.
Yeah, it's discreetly implemented into Ryu's character so that all of his Street Fighter button combinations, as if you were playing Street Fighter 4, are there. And if you input the Street Fighter 4 version of the commands, or any Street Fighter commands, then he'll do a stronger version of that attack with less recovery frames. So there's nothing but benefit to using the input commands versus the Smash Brothers version of the commands.
Quarter circle punch, baby.
He's a very, very technical character. Like, if you try to play him like a Smash Brothers character, he's not fun, but if you play him as if he's in Street Fighter, and he just happens to be in Smash Brothers, oh, he's potentially broken. There's just his Shuriken will just knock the shit out, and it's so fast, too. The startup for it is almost like a startup frame. It's so freaking fast with a lot of knockout potential. Really cool character. I'm really loving Ryu. To be perfectly honest, he's the only one I've downloaded so far because I was like, well, there's an iconic character. Gotta have him on my roster. We already kind of had a podcast about that where we were talking we haven't posted it yet. We were talking about how is it a good thing that these characters which are potentially broken are downloadable? And the answer is technically it's not a good thing, but that's another discussion for another time. Yeah. No, they can help it.
Well,
they could have just given it for free.
Sometimes we can't help it because we're just we get a little too excited.
Yep. Let's move on to pretty much what everyone agrees was the worst E3 conference in a long time. Square Enix's E3 conference. And it was the worst because maybe it didn't help that they follow it right after Nintendo and their puppet antics. And so Square Enix was just nothing but your stereotypical men in suits just talking at you about how these games are going to be good. not really showing actual gameplay footage, but just talking at you how they were going to be good. For instance, they opened up the conference by showing the Final Fantasy VII demo again. The trailer. They showed the trailer again. Sony showed that yesterday. What more are you going to show us? Nothing. Literally nothing. They showed the trailer again and didn't say anything else except give us more time to give you more information. Why waste my time then? You know, either you showed it or Sony showed it. There's no need for both of you to show it. Moving straight on.
Pretty much all you can say about that.
Yep. Kingdom Hearts 3. They showed 2.5 minutes of gameplay footage for Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm excited. Looked good. Looked really good. End the story, please. Just let it go.
We've been waiting long enough.
Yep.
Please, for the love of God, make it so that people who haven't played all the little handheld games throughout the years can still understand what's going on.
Nope. You know why? Because they re-released all of the games in the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 HD remixes. So now you, according to Square Enix, you will have no excuse not to get caught up.
Then I'm not going to play it.
I still think it's bullshit that
you just took my interest from very excited and glad it's finally coming out to couldn't care less.
Couldn't. I'm still excited. I'm sure they'll do some sort of story cleanup. They typically kind of do. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and look this up real quick. Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Remix. And I'm curious if it was on PS4. I think it's PS3 only. Yeah, it's PS3 only.
Then, you know, then they need to do something else, because that's just, it's been too long. There's too much stuff that's been on the side, and there are some of us who just like wanted to play those games and play 3, and we didn't want to play all that other stuff. And I feel like they're kind of dropping the ball on that. I think that that's a game that could catch a lot of attention. I think you're going to get a lot of people who are unfairly upset by it, because they're like, well, what's going on? There's so much stuff I don't get. And they're like, oh, because I need to go back and replay these games that have been remastered and remixed. And I don't know. I think that's the wrong move.
I get it. I absolutely get it, especially when all the Kingdom Hearts games came on completely different systems at different times. So it's really unfair. They should have just, if you're going to release Kingdom Hearts 3, it should have been on the PS3, let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. They've waited way too long to release this game.
Way, way too long. I think it's because the creator, Tetsuya Nomura, has this hard-on for not knowing how to end a game series.
I would say
that's
probably right.
He just does not give any fucks. Let's go on in the Sony press conference. Sony pulled a rabbit out of their hat. They were able to make the conference for Just Cause 3 look boring because they showed gameplay footage, but they just talked at you about what's going on. Like, over here, you can go ahead and hijack a car and drive it into a building and watch it blow up. And over here, you can hijack a plane using your parachute. I was like, you're serious? This isn't exciting to you? Am I missing something? It was so dull, but the game looked good. Just Cause 3 looked good.
Oh yeah, the game looks amazing, and I'm so excited to play it. I'm not shitting on it at all. Their presentation was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Next. Can I just say that what's next is Deus Ex Mankind Divided. The conference for it was god-awful. Freaking awful. They had, if I'm not mistaken, the producer, or was it the main director, that clearly English was a language that he was just learning that week. And then he handed it off to someone else who spoke a lot better English, and then they immediately showed the gameplay footage of it. And looked good. Looked very good. very, very good. Remember in the pre-3 2015 podcast, we talked about how the subtitle "Mankind Divided" is going to have very, very strong connotations as to what that actually means.
Absolutely.
Mechanical apartheid. Everyone that has been augmented now is forced to live in the ghettos. That's dark, and that's based on the ending of Human Revolution, which makes sense. This game is asking some very strong questions. And I love it.
Yeah, but you know what? I have a feeling asking all these augmented people to go into the ghettos and not be part of the regular life, I think that might not end well for those the normies. So
Don't know.
we shall see.
Game looked very good. It showed Adam Jensen. He's got some brand new augmentations, such as the nano blades that he has can be shot off as a kind of like a thrown knife, and he can also shoot them into a corner and they explode. So he has refillable nano blades. Awesome. His left arm, if I'm not mistaken, actually is a Pep's energy gun, which if you remember that from the first game, it was kind of like an EMP rifle that you fired that just caused enemies to fall back. If they were close enough, it just outright killed them. It also has kind of an EMP dispersal pattern to it, so it can disable robots, which are always kind of a jerk enemy in that game. It showed him he has a new type of augmentation called Titan Armor, in which case it covers him and makes him take a lot more bullet damage. Also, the gunplay in the game looked a lot more solid than the third game. And the third game was okay. Wasn't bad. This one, a lot better. A lot better. Really, really excited for this game.
Yeah, I think
Really
it's going to be... I think it's going to be really good. I'm pretty excited.
Let's get to the game that's coming out in just a couple days. Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight. So here's the issue immediately I'm going to follow with Arkham Knight. Alright, it's coming out in a couple days. Only major, and I'm talking like IGN and GameSpot, my fault, have gotten review copies of Arkham Knight. That's a giant red flag to me. No one else has gotten review copies. Total Biscuit said on his Twitter, "Oh dear gosh, Arkham Knight didn't send me review copies. Do not pre-order. Repeat, do not pre-order." And during their E3 for the game coming out in a week to almost the day when they gave their some more coverage of Arkham Knight, they were still talking about pre-order the game. Pre-order the Have you no dignity?
They want to get all of that money in before the word gets out and nobody buys it.
I'm afraid. I want this game to be good. You know what? Here's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to do what I did for Arkham City. I'm going to wait till the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC already on the goddamn disc comes out, and then I actually buy the complete game for $60. Because right now it seems like they took out bits and pieces and they're going to sell it to me piecemeal. Nah, I'm a very patient person. I got plenty of games to play.
Yep. So you know what? It looks pretty.
It looks awesome.
But yeah, let's
hold the line.
Let's hold back. Hold back.
Hold the line. Don't pre-order. Do not give WB the satisfaction. I know it's tempting. I know the Red Hood DLC pack from GameStop for just pre-ordering the game is tempting. I almost succumbed. I'm not gonna lie, but don't do it, everyone.
Hold back.
Hold back. Also, Batman Arkham Origins no longer considered canon. During the conference and the announcement of Arkham Knight, one of the head directors was talking about how the Arkham Knight will end the trilogy, but there's been already 3 Batman games, so the only reason he would say trilogy would be Arkham Origins is just a game that's just kind of there. It's just kind of out there. Which is fair, because it's a bug-riddled game that WB decided not to fix.
Yeah, fair enough. Makes sense.
Moving right along. Gearbox is making another game. That doesn't have the word Borderlands in the title. Thank you. I don't care about Borderlands. I've made no secret about that. It's not for me. Battleborn. Team Fortress clone. Team Fortress 2 clone. Yeah.
Woo.
I mean, Bungie is... not Bungie. Blizzard is already doing that with Overwatch.
Yep.
Is this the thing to do right now?
Apparently, we're off the MOBA train and we're back on the TF2 clone train.
Oh, the MOBA train's going strong, sir. Choo-choo. But yeah, there's another TF2 clone, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Battlecry.
Yep. That was
yeah.
announced during the Bethesda press conference.
Yeah, you're right. We forgot to cover that. Yeah. So, I don't know how many Team Fortress 2 clones are going to be this year. Apparently 3.
Yep.
But I might only play one of them. It's probably going to be Overwatch.
I'll play one. It's called TF2.
Fair enough. I already have it on my computer. I think you can buy it for free, if I'm not mistaken.
It is a free-to-play game, yes.
Yep, I think it costs you exactly $0.00 to play the original Team Fortress 2 and not these pretenders to
And
the
it's a
game.
pretty good game.
Yeah,
you should play
pretty fun. Not broken. Very steep learning curve. Do not think you're going to get in there and wreck face. Nope.
No.
That's not how that
Quite the
works.
opposite.
You will die a lot. It's actually very frustrating for the first 5 hours. There was another Square Enix game. Persona 5 and Shin Megami Tensei Crossfire Emblem. See, the thing is, I am the target audience for this. I love anime-style games. I just don't care about these two.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to cover one thing we haven't really talked about through all of this, and this was kind of an underlying overarching theme to E3, and a lot of things were getting shown. Virtual reality is here, and they are making, and I know Stan may or may not disagree with this, but they are making very good cases, very good use cases for themselves, and they all of the headsets that have shown have brought something that makes people who see it go, yes, I see what's going on. I also see the future. There are so many people that have walked out from various demos and their minds have been blown. And I am excited.
I don't care. Josh, let's have a realistic conversation about Oculus Rift right now. Do you know what's required to run Oculus Rift?
A 970 or higher, yes.
Let's talk about that. A 970 graphics card or higher. Do you think the average person has a 970 or higher graphics card?
The average person, no. The average consumer who's going to buy an Oculus Rift, yes.
Just in case you guys don't know, you might have heard me type in the background. I looked up how much a 970 goes for right now as of June 20th, 2015. $350 for just the graphics card. So
but
if
see,
you don't...
Here's my thing. Nobody ever talks about the graphics card required to run a game as saying like, oh my god, they've got to have, they recommend you have a 980 to run this, or you need a minimum of whatever.
But that's Oculus Rift's minimum.
Well, yeah. So it's a power hungry thing. That doesn't matter. The people who want this kind of thing, who are really going to be in the market for that, either already have a computer that's powerful enough to run it, or they're in the market to upgrade. It's not. Most people who are going to be interested in it that's not going to be a huge barrier.
So tell you what, if that's actually their minimum to run the Oculus Rift, you've crowded me out the market. I'm not doing that.
I mean, me too. But that's the wonderful thing about these VR headsets too, is Oculus isn't the only one. There are tons of headset manufacturers coming out with their own versions of things. So you're going to really, honestly, you're going to be spoiled for choice here pretty soon.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Oculus Rift's minimum requirements aside, which I think might kill them. I think that's going to hurt them. As much development time and cost that they've put into it, completely crowding out your market by demanding, pretty much demanding you have a $1,500 rig. Wow.
But again, I think the main market for a headset like that is not a barrier to entry because they've already got the machines or have pretty close to the machines that can run it. I don't think they are missing too much of the market that they wouldn't get if they had a lower requirement. And I think it's better that they have a higher requirement and give people the fidelity they need to not get ill and to give people a good experience.
That's still going to happen.
It's still going to happen, but it happens less with the higher fidelity and a higher refresh rate. So
agreed.
I think they are going to have a better experience by having a higher requirement than by lowering it, trying to get more people in. Because then if people are getting sick constantly and putting bad reviews out there, returning units and not spreading the word, that's worse for them than if they give people a really good experience.
So my end thoughts on Oculus Rift is it seems like an idea that's becoming more and more and more tangible. And I have no hate for the company that's coming out with this idea because they're innovating. They're innovating in a brand new way. They're innovating in a way that are making other companies take notice. I think they're going to miss the mark. I think they're going to miss it hard. And that's a sad realization. I think it's going to come out probably in like 2017 when we're having this conversation and asking what went wrong. Well, forcing someone to strap something to your face to game on your particular unit, that may or may not work well. As a matter of fact, many people with Oculus Rift, most people at E3, no one tried it for more than 10 minutes. So no one knows what the exposure of long period gaming is going to be like on here, unless you were a developer. No consumer knows that, you know.
Absolutely, so, but again, we are not too far either from the future where the headset is not that size either.
Yeah, yeah.
Because honestly, I think within even 5 years, we're going to go from these big units to Google Glass style. You put a pair of sunglasses on, and that's all you need to do it.
Can we also talk about the cost of Oculus Rift? The consumer cost was just released. It's $350. I mean, you can buy an Xbox One. You can buy a Wii U with a couple games. You can use that towards a PS4. Let's get down to brass tacks. That's expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, it's new tech. New tech is expensive.
Yeah.
You're right. You spend that much on your cell phone. You put that much into your computer. And again, this isn't a product for people who are entering the market. They are people who are already in it. They are the early adopters. They're the first responders to this kind of stuff. And I don't think Oculus has any delusions of grandeur saying that it's going to take the world by storm and every single gamer is going to have one in their household.
Yeah, I know they're not that dumb.
So I think it is the right price. I think it is the right time. I think the tech is pretty much there, and I think they need to start getting into the consumer's hands because developers are finally starting to figure it out, and they're really not going to figure it out until they really start getting into more people's hands. And I think now's the time. And I think all of the other headsets too that are coming out, you've got Morpheus, you've got HoloLens, you've got the Star VR, you've got other third-party ones, you've got the LG Vive or Vive, whatever. You know, there's a lot of competition, and I think they're really going to be pushing each other to advance the technology quicker than they would if there was just a single headset out there.
Can we talk about the HoloLens real quick?
Look! Oh my God! Yeah, we forgot about that at the Microsoft press conference.
Can I just say I'm impressed?
That was fucking nuts.
Step aside, Oculus. If that's a thing, you've been beat.
I will say I think AR is going to be bigger than VR, but shit.
I'm going to type in the background. I did not see a consumer level cost of HoloLens. It might be way too early to tell.
I don't think they've announced one yet because they've gone through some big changes with the screen and the way they've packaged it, and I think they're still working on that because the early editions, the field of view was a lot wider. The newer editions, they've had to narrow it because they've been trying to make it so you don't have to be plugged in so that it can be self-contained, but they, power constraints with that. So I think they're still working on it. So I don't think they've even really come close to announcing a consumer cost yet. So
I have a lot of information from reputable sources. I'm talking Forbes.com and VentureBeat. VentureBeat, but Forbes definitely. Supposedly, it's going to be more than $400.
I mean, that makes sense.
That's all right. Never mind. I mean, that's expensive for what's essentially a toy.
Oh,
That's
no. HoloLens is going to have so many applications outside of gaming that are going to be...
outside of gaming, yeah. But if you want to use it exclusively for gaming, you're wasting your time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that HoloLens looked awesome. Very awesome. I'm not sold 100%, but I'm very impressed with what I saw.
Yeah. Either way, I am very, even I'm not going to be in the market for one anytime soon, just because of, time and hardware constraints of myself. But God, I'm very excited to see them coming out. I'm very excited to see what they do. And honestly, I could see in a few years, as the price comes down and the size comes down and the tech gets there a little more, I could see myself getting one because I'm kind of excited. So.
I would love to see like the medical or military applications for HoloLens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good job, Microsoft.
Yep.
Impressive tech. Absolutely jaw-dropping.
Can we just real quick for E3 in general just...
Yeah.
Good
to watch.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah.
Games are here, guys.
Oh.
They fucking rock.
This E3 was good to watch, good to listen to. Even the Square Enix one, which was just dull, but it was dull by comparison to all the goodness.
Yep. And it didn't mean that they showed bad games. It just means that they don't know how to fucking put on a press conference.
Agreed. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. I mean, let's be 100% fair. The Square Enix E3 2015 really isn't that much different from the Square Enix 2014 or the 2013. It's just that everyone stepped their game up for 2015 and made them look dumb by comparison. So let's move on to another piece of VR tech. One of Josh's favorite companies, Starbreeze, decided that they don't like money anymore and want to burn it as fast as possible.
You know what, though?
Go ahead.
I'm starting to understand it. I'm starting to get
here we go. Here we go.
Because first off, they didn't develop this tech in-house. They actually bought a company.
Wait. Let's stop burying the lead. Let's actually... So, Overkill, the name of the studio, if I'm not mistaken.
Starbreeze. Starbreeze is the head overarching.
And Overkill is making a game called The Walking Dead. This version of The Walking Dead, you'll be a survivor in a wheelchair armed with only a shotgun, and it's on rails. But the caveat to this, because it sounds like, oh, okay, that's an interesting concept for a game. The caveat to this is you have to play it. No compromise. You have to play it via a headset, a 3D headset. And it is a 3D headset that will only work with this game. It's called Star VR. No, Oculus Rift won't support it. HoloLens won't support it. The Vive won't support it. Nothing will support it except this one headset only sold just for this one game. Josh, I believe you are going to defend this ridiculous move.
And this is going to go, we're going to be calling back to some previous things. Yes, it's been a long time since a game has required a peripheral, but it's not the first time. And plenty of successful games that both you and I have loved, have required peripherals to play.
Yep.
I purchased Time Crisis and the Gun Con. I mean, got one of the greatest games of all time, Duck Hunt.
That gun works with other games, though.
And you know what? It'll work with other games. I'm sure Starbreeze will make other games that work with it.
Okay.
And I'm sure at some point, after the initial release of it, I'm sure they will open it up. And it does have unique because it has a wider field of view, which in some of the hearings of other games have been kind of the sticking point. People are kind of upset that the field of view isn't bigger, and this one has a unique, wider field of view. But I don't think it's the end of the world to say, hey, this game is gonna be this experience. and you need this peripheral. If you want it, get it. If you don't, you don't. I think that's okay.
So here's my thoughts on it. First of all, I was listening to both the Giant Bomb, the YouTube, and I think IGN's coverage of this particular headset. All three outlets have said the headset was the worst VR experience they've experienced of any of their competitors.
But they didn't say it was bad. They just did. They said it wasn't as not as good.
Fair enough. And also, the price point hasn't been announced, and I'm sure it's going to be really expensive. Anyways, we can wax on for Starbreeze's weird decision for hours. That was most of E3. You want to go ahead and wrap up the couple of games that were just mentioned during... There was a PC presentation, but very few games came out of it. Very few. There's one. XCOM 2 was announced. BFD. Big deal. No gameplay shown, just a trailer. If there was gameplay shown...
XCOM folks are really excited. I'm not an XCOM person. I'm very happy for them. I don't really care. It's great. Make that game. There are people who want it. I'm not one of them.
All right. And...
I will say, it was cool to finally see a PC press conference, to be admitting that at the big trade show for video games, PC gaming is a big portion of what's going on, and having companies and the industry as a whole finally acknowledging that. You know what? Actually, this is a platform we really need to focus on and highlight and showcase. And that was I'm sure that, for the first showcase, it's not the best, and
it was 3 hours of what I've been told. I followed the Twitter feed for that one. I was told it was 3 hours of Drek.
Yeah. So, and I think it'll get better, but it's just good to see. And you can look back to the Microsoft press conference too, talking about a lot of things that were Xbox One and Windows 10. But it was just good to see the PC finally getting the recognition it deserves.
Let's cap it off with two last games. Mighty Number 9, which is getting released in September, exactly 2 years after its Kickstarter date. Keiji Inafune, you're the man. You're the man. And if you're a fan of Mega Man games and you haven't played any of them, the Mega Man Legacy Collection is coming out very soon from Capcom. Capcom, smart-ass decision. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Overall, E3, fucking rocked. I know we've said that already, but can't stress that enough. Damn good E3.
Good showing. Very good showing.
Yeah, good job. Good.
Yeah, another
good
round
job,
of
everybody.
applause. I was very pleased to watch that. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments section below. Absolutely love it. Also, in the description is going to be somewhere buried underneath all these links is going to be our Facebook page. Follow us if you want. Our Twitter page. You can follow my ranting tweets of anger and also joy from time to time.
At Unscript Gaming. Follow us.
At Unscript Gaming. Yep. And if you like these videos, please subscribe to them. We'll be posting more and more and more. So there's going to be a ton of content, mostly about gaming or what we just think about any other things.
Yeah, we probably got some unscripted ungaming podcasts coming up in the near future. Who knows? We'll see. We might need to take a break post E3 because we're just drunk on so many games that we start rambling about other things. I mean, who knows?
This E3 has caused me to accidentally purchase like $30 worth of games on the Steam sale. I was like, oh, I need to play that game. Oh, I need to play that game. So
I haven't been this re-energized about gaming in a long time.
No, I haven't. Once I get done editing these podcasts, I'm going to play some Dark Souls, or I'm going to play some Dishonored. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good. Thank you very much for listening to us rant and ramble for about an hour and a half. Once again, if you want to see part 1, go ahead and click here. And
do it. You won't.
Thank you for watching Unscripted Gaming.
Peace.
Hope you have a fine night.